Hello everyone, my name is Ashutosh Alurkar. I am a first year PGDM student at VS Business School. Today we have with us an industry stalwart holding rich cross-functional business experience of over 30 years. He is the Associate Vice President of Estimation and Costing at Kalpataru Limited, Mumbai. In his role, he is instrumental in setting up a team of talented engineers working on project budget, controlling construction cost of projects, timely flagging of anticipated effects on project cost and value engineering. He has used his knowledge of working in different companies at different roles to leverage his current portfolio of work. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Mr. Moreshwar Alurkar. Thank you, sir, for allowing us to interview you and agreeing to give us more insights into your professional journey as well as the corporate world. So, without wasting any time, I'll immediately dive into the first question. Could you please guide us on your professional journey and can you enlighten us on some of the major challenges that you have faced throughout your career?
Okay, thank you, Ashutosh. Thank you, Anjali and Vaibhav. First of all, inviting me to to have an interaction with you guys. Okay, it's a nice pleasure to meet these young people who are going to just enter into their professional life in some time and facing this pandemic and this turmoil in their lives and everything. So it's a good thing that I'm getting chance to talk to this young generation. First of all, thank you very much to call me and have an interview, have a talk with you. First of all, it gives me immense pleasure. Number one. So as far as your question on my journey in the professional life and the challenges faced by me during my starting years of profession. Yes, I can start with your specific answers, pointed questions. I am a basic civil engineer. Uh, Completed my diploma in civil engineering from VZTI, a very reputed organization in its field, almost 150 years old organization where the founder of Kirloskar Brothers was a teacher. So you will like to understand that it's the first RCC building in whole of Asia. The hostel building of VZTI is the first RCC, that's concrete with reinforcement steel. If you know, the steel is put in concrete. That kind of building, first building in entire Asia. So that kind of old institute VZTI is, and I had a privilege to study in such a prestigious institute in Mumbai. Okay, so first of all, getting admitted to a college like VZTI was a big thing and big rather milestone, I will say. But once we entered into it, we came to know that it's very tough because it's a civil engineering field and lot many different subjects into civil engineering, water, irrigation, plumbing, and firefighting, and lot many things, estimation and costing and surveying. So, because civil engineering is a very, very, very vast field of you touch anything. You are sitting in a building, right? That building is constructed by civil engineer. You are having water in your tap, right? That water is coming from a dam. That dam is constructed by civil engineer. The pipe scanning from that dam to your house is constructed by pipeline. That is constructed by civil engineer. So anything and everything, whatever you touch, has been touched upon by a civil engineer. Okay, so that's an immense pleasure for me to call myself a civil engineer. To start with, the challenges faced, as you said, very vast field. Okay, and then the construction field is a very intensive field, very much labor intensive field. So what you learn in engineering college in your books and what happens at site or actual construction, the language is completely different. Where I call sand for construction material, sand is required. Everybody calls that word in a different way on site. Somebody will call vadu. In Pune, it is called as vadu. In North India, it is called as reti. In some other, it is called. So even in Mumbai, when you work, the kind of people with whom you interact call a different name to that thing. Okay, so fair enough. You have to have challenges in that. The first thing which I think I did good, probably, that in my formative years of my career, I stressed upon gaining knowledge. rather than gaining money. So we never looked at what is the package, how much money I'm going to get. Yes, money is equally important. Money was equally important, and it will be equally important in your life. But in the initial formative years of your career, one should focus towards gaining knowledge as much as possible. As much knowledge you gain in the initial 5 6 years, 10 years, it will help you because you are fresh from the college. Your mind is very fresh. It is very open to new ideas. It is very it is not polluted, I will say. It is not politically polluted. It is not polluted at all. So the first thing one should progress in his initial formative years is gaining knowledge by talking to people. You can at sites, when there are construction site is going on, I have asked questions to a carpenter also. Carpenter is somebody who holds nails and drives them into the wood using a hammer. So I have come from VGTS. I'm an engineer. How can I ask him? No. If you want to gain knowledge, you can ask anybody any question. As much as you ask people, you will get that knowledge. So first and foremost thing, I'll advise you guys, initial formative years, please focus on gaining knowledge. Okay. So now going forward, another thing is that which I did, which helped me a lot, that I didn't work only from one direction. Like say, is a contractor. A civil contractor takes contracts and carries out the work as per the drawings and designs given to him. He is not bothered about the design and drawing. He is not bothered. He is supposed to construct what is given in the drawing. So that is one school. There is a one perspective of any construction work, right? Then I started working with the architect. Architect constructs the same building, but he is designing it. So he knows pros and cons of a design. So his perspective looking at that project is completely different than of a contractor's perspective. A contractor will think which is the item which is more profitable to me, which is the item where I will require less manpower, which is the item where I'm not gaining profit, so I should try to remove that item from my scope. There is a perspective of a contractor. The same building, when I'm working with the architect, my perspective changes. I'll say which is the part which will look good, which is the part which will help this building to sustain more in its tenure. So number one. Number two, then I started working with a builder. A builder as a developer. First I said a contractor, then I said an architect, then I said a developer. Developer is somebody who buys land. He gets a design done from the architect, and he employs a contractor and gets the building completed and sells the flat. Okay, so his perspective is completely different now. Now his perspective, he has to construct a good building, but with cheaper cost and at right time at right price. So the same building is looked after in a different by a contractor, a different by an architect, and a different perspective by a developer. So working in the same field but from a different angle helps you to gain the different perspective of that particular activity, that particular job. So your initial question, I think I have answered that how I progressed, how I took my things ahead, how I started my initial career, and what are the challenges faced. And those challenges faced are going to be there. I will be faced my challenge in the last day of my profession. But facing challenges is never easy, will never stop. 5 years, 10 years down, even if you are now, I almost started working 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago. But still, tomorrow is Monday. Okay, Monday morning there will be some different challenge I have to face in my office. So facing challenge is no issue. Everybody will have to face challenge throughout his career. How many years they have worked, no issue. Okay, so challenges.
Sir, you said something about looking at a job with different perspectives.
Right.
So, how do you think one should develop that skill of looking at a particular job through n number of perspective or lenses?
Fair enough. Okay, so when you join, say now you are into a field of say car manufacturing. Okay, now car manufacturing, when you work in a factory, when you work on a shop floor, the moment the people around you will talk, will influence you. They do it like this, sir. ऐसा नहीं करते. If there is a worker level people you are talking to, sir ऐसा नहीं करते. इससे क्या होगा? इसमें time लगेगा. So he will think that he might be required to work more. Okay, so you gain that perspective automatically when you enter into that job. People will talk, people will have meetings, people will write you letters, people will send you a mail, people will ask for a meeting, they will have their thought on it. So you come to know how people are thinking for that particular job around me, who are working with me. So what is their perspective? Startly, you can uh, base your perspective on their input. You will have some input from them. But we call it as stakeholders in our organization. We call it stakeholders. There are different stakeholders, and I am working with builder, either developer. My stakeholders are my architect, the contractor, my engineers, my senior, my supervisors. Okay, so these are perspective. So these stakeholders or the people around you make you understand what is the perspective of that particular organization towards that work. Only thing, you have to have ears open, you have to have your eyes open, you have to have your mind receptive to what people are saying. Your mind should analyze that, not listen from one ear and leave it. The moment if you start being just physically present in the meeting, you will not generate that perspective unless until you listen to people, you understand their thought process. This perspective automatically will come into you.
Okay, thank you. So
Okay.
let's get into some uh, 2020 content.
Okay.
So considering the current economic slowdown, what according to you are the adverse impacts on the real estate industry or the civil construction industry?
Beautiful. Okay. As I said in the in the start of the interview itself, construction industry is a completely labor intensive industry. Okay, in India, slowly, things are become mechanized. Slowly. Last 5 years, yes, there is a less dependent on worker, but still there are certain activities which are 100% done by men, people on working on site. And as you know, in Mumbai or in Maharashtra and around, most of the laborers are coming from North India, migrant laborers. The entire construction industry is dependent on migrant laborers. Okay, there are no indigenous people staying in Arya and Mumbai who are working on it. They come from Bihar, they come from Bengal, West Bengal, they come from even Bangladesh, they come from Nepal, they come from Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so now all these are migrant workers. In this pandemic, as you know, everybody ran away with their bag and baggage to their native place, fearing, whatever. Not fearing, they didn't have job here, so they didn't have any food to eat, they didn't have money to spend. Okay, so they had no choice but to go to their native place to survive. Only 20 to 30% have returned. Okay, rest have not returned. Okay, so this pandemic has thrown a large big challenge of men. Okay, so there are no enough manpower available. Okay, and you cannot immediately make changes to your process by which the machines can start working. It cannot happen so fast, right? As you said. So the construction industry is anyway dependent on these workers. Now because these workers are not there, the material required for this working is also not there. Wood is required, right? So these people who are wood cutters have not reached their place, so that wood is not coming in time. Okay, the items which are imported, like there are certain items which are imported, like sanitary fittings and some certain, because the Kalpataru is in a premier segment of construction. Okay,
Correct.
we are building buildings in South Mumbai, in middle Mumbai, Dadar and Varadi and Prabhadevi. So there all these high end apartments where certain things are the switches or the electrical appliances or the sanitary fittings, plumbing, these and that. All these, most of the things are imported. So because of this, the pandemic, there is no proper trade happening. Okay, there is no international ships are not coming in time. There are no containers available. The what do we call as docks are not working properly, so there is delay in shipment of
Fine.
material. There is a delay in getting material on time. Main because of the pandemic, people are not, now they are slowly coming back now. I think since last 1.5 months, 2 months, things have started coming on right track, and hopefully by another month or so we'll be bang on. So
Uh,
that was
so, uh, Adding to that question, because it just sparked my curiosity a bit. So, what do you think? Now, these are your personal opinions, but what do you think that Kalpataru has done right in the pandemic, or your major competitors like Hiranandani or Loda have done right in this pandemic period? Because
Uh,
as you said, it is
yeah.
a labor intensive and it
Yeah.
has been hit the worst.
Yeah. So what they have done, as far as the uh, mainframe, like the main work of constructing buildings, there those guys have not able to do anything because of loss of these jobs or something. So what they have done, the two three companies have changed their business strategy. What they have done is, now as you know, the online industry, industry is booming.
Correct.
There are most of the things on e-commerce. Everything is going on e-commerce, right? So the e-commerce people require a lot of logistic parts. They require large warehouses. They require large logistic parks, wherein the material is the manufacturers dump in their material in the logistic park, and from logistic parks, it is shipped to the individual household. So this Hiranandani and other two other companies are focusing their strategy towards constructing logistic parks. And these logistic parks are generally large warehouses constructed using, structural steel fabrication and sheeting and metal. There is no RCC slab, or there is no flooring, tiling, waterproofing, plumbing, firefighting. Nothing is required. Okay, so this type of work can be done mechanizing, using cranes and structural fabrication and sheeting. Hardly so they have switched over in some Lodha and Hiranandani have suddenly started doing that, and they have relatively reduced their construction of buildings and all that, which they will start again after the people are available. So
Okay.
somehow Kalpataru has not moved in that direction, and they are putting currently their all their thirst on launching new projects in construction, mainframe buildings.
Okay, correct. Thank you. So, utilizing the time and resources is what we need to learn from in this
Right,
pandemic.
right.
Thank you. So, I'll move on to my fourth question now. Looking at the various hurdles faced by you in their professional life and the current challenges hitting the industry, in your opinion, what is the ideal set of skills that a B school graduate like us should have?
Okay. In recent times, I had watched an interview or a TED talk. I think it was some TED talk. I don't know. I don't remember the name of the person. He has said that in every 5 years' time henceforth, 30% of the jobs which people are doing will be redundant. So, 10 years ago, we used to go to a bank, give our passbook, sign on the withdrawal slip. I think whether this generation whether knows a withdrawal slip or not, I don't know. Okay, so there was a slip. The clerk used to give us a slip. On that slip, you have to write how much money you want. You have to write your bank account number. Then you have to write how much amount in money, in amount and word, and then sign on the reverse of the slip. Then it will go to somebody, then it will go to somebody, and after half an hour you will get that money. Okay, so it when I'm saying go to somebody, at least 4 to 5 people that slip used to go. Finally it goes to the tailor, who is called as tailor, and he used to give us the money. Okay, now come today, you pick up a ATM card, go to ATM machine, put, get the money. So 5 people have lost job. The five
Correct.
people to whom the sleep was going have almost lost their job. Or if it's a if it's a government run bank, they will not lose their job, they will retire,
Correct.
but their post will not be filled by the bank. There is State Bank of India or Bank of India, they will not ask people to leave because it's a government sector bank. Okay, so they will give some other job, whatever. But
Yeah.
after 5 years, if the person retires, they are not going to fill his vacancy because they are no more required. In the same way, they say in United States of America, after 5 years, 90% of the surgeries will not be done by a surgeon. They will be done by a robot. So a surgeon won't be required in US for 90% of the surgeries. Okay, so the point to which I'm coming is that because of the vast changes in the technology, most of the after 5 years there is something different. You must be aware that Tesla is coming with cars,
Yeah,
electrical cars, and he's selling the technology to all over the world. Not even selling, he's giving it free.
correct.
He's giving the battery technology and the engine technology free to people. You can use it. Okay, compared to a petrol run car, if you compare the number of parts, running parts in a Tesla car, it is not even 5%.
Correct.
Not even 5%. There is only one motor. There is no gear, because gear is electronic. Gear is electronically operated. Okay, there is only one motor, is the only diesel, running part. The moment less number of running part, no mechanic required, no maintenance required, no repair required, no oiling, greasing, nothing. So all those mechanics who are open their shop at the roadside will be redundant after 10 years. They won't have any work. So the point to which I'm coming is this generation of yours, these school graduates, need to learn multitasking. They need to they need to learn skills, or they need to have a open mind so that they can switch to any type of work in 2 months time. The era of somebody joining in telco as a design engineer at the age of 30 and returning after 30 years at the age of 60 with the same has gone. I don't think anybody will be staying in a company for 5 years more than that. Okay, because the role for which he has joined the company might not be needed after 5 years. So this team, this generation need to skill themselves to learn new things quickly and be mentally ready to work on different type of portfolios, different type of work, different type of thing. You might be accountant today, you might be a chartered accountant today. Some software will come in the market where the chartered accountant won't be required. It is fully possible. So that chartered account should be able to think, or should be able to gain enough knowledge and skill set to be agile enough to understand where the market is going, where the technology is going. I might be required to learn cost accounting rather than chartered accounting. Chartered
Correct.
accounting and costing are two different things. Okay, the cost accountant might not lose his requirements in another 20 years time. The chartered accountant could, but these generations should learn to adapt, to learn new things, and to skill themselves to new skill set. This is very important to sustain today's market.
Yes. So, rather than fearing that our job will be redundant, one should be quick on their feet and try to learn as many things as possible,
Yes, yes, yes,
so
yes.
that
And number one, and
even if
number,
the job becomes redundant, you can shift to this
right.
because I know it.
Right. We at Kalpataru, when we take interview of a fresh person, we do not ask him about what concrete, what steel, what shuttering. No, we don't ask him.
Yeah.
We check whether that person has got ability to learn. We check whether that person's thought process is that he's ready to understand something tomorrow. If somebody is required in contracting department and estimation department, person has to work for 15 days in contract, whether that person will be able to gauge those what is required, will be able to adapt to that thing in 10 days time. So this is the skill set required. Though he will understand concrete, steel, shuttering anyway after 5 years working in Kalpataru. So, but does he contain that knowledge, or has he that habit, or has he developed that thought process to gain that knowledge? That is most important.
Yeah. So, what you are saying is are my next two questions. That is, which extra certifications are necessary for a B school graduate? Like, this is your own perspective, and how has the hiring process evolved according to you? Like when you started and what it's at right now.
Yeah. As I told you, because when we joined, people used to ask us only concrete and steel and shuttering, because they wanted us to be engineers working on concrete and shuttering throughout our life. Right
Okay.
now, the person who is hiring you, he himself doesn't know whether his job will be there for not 5 years. Okay, oh, he is hiring you guys considering your adaptability. So it is a better thing is happening. Number one. Number two, uh, as the real estate cost is increasing, office space is very crunched in Mumbai. It is very costly. Running an office is very difficult. So people are trying to make people work from home, work remotely. This pandemic has helped in your age people, your generation people, to have this skill. Now today we are talking like this on this. 5 years ago this was not even thoughtful. In
Correct.
foreign countries were there. In India I don't think I had never had a meeting online before this pandemic. Even if I have spent 30 years in Kalpataru, we never had a meeting online. Okay, so this pandemic has changed the way industry is working. The hiring also has changed. People's requirement also has changed. Okay, and you guys got the advantage of this pandemic, that you have learned online, you have learned the distance. You are able to correct to people. If you are, even if you are not facing them face to face, you are not met, none of you, I don't think these people have met together personally, so you have not. So am I audible? Hello.
Yes, yes, yes. You are.
Okay.
You're audible.
I think that, yeah, your frame was frozen, that's why I
Yeah,
stopped.
yeah. My frame was frozen.
Okay, so the hiring process has evolved. Now people are taking interview on Skype. They are taking interview on Team. They are taking interview on Zoom and all that. So they have little, I think, limited scope of understanding some person.
Okay.
Earlier, body language, how a person enters room, how he, that also was very important.
Correct.
We used to have a look at it, how he speaks, how, so you guys have that little advantage that you're not required to face to face interviews. You can conduct it on Zoom and this and that. But the hiring process, I think, is more towards online things, and then checking whether the person is adaptive, checking person whether is open to new ideas. So if you guys are, getting that skill set, it's very easy for you.
Do you think this online Zoom meeting, Zoom interview thing is here to stay?
I think yes, it is here to stay. It is here to stay,
Okay.
because I'll tell you, in Kalpataru we had almost 10, 15, 16 meeting rooms
Yeah.
once upon a time. Okay, so even if 10 people come for a meeting, we had enough meeting rooms to take interview. Now people have started, reducing their office spaces. They cannot afford the office rent or whatever that lease amount is there. 40 rupees a square foot was in some time. It is 110 now, 120, 150. In South Bombay, it is 200 rupees a square foot per month. So imagine a 10,000 square foot office, 200 rupees a square foot per month is a huge cost. So people are definitely not going to, invest on large offices. They would like to have small offices. They will definitely henceforth take meetings on Google, this and that, and again people, and interview people.
Okay, so the thing to learn here is that like business graduate like us.
Yeah, yeah.
So rather than just focusing on the technical part, the interviewer wants to caliber that if I'm able to learn things
Right.
as fast as they are
Attitude.
expecting.
And the attitude, they look at your attitude. What is your attitude? The attitude. Are you asking questions? How much money I will get? Sir, how many
Yes.
holidays are there? What is the working hours in the building? What about the working hour? Whatever the time period given for lunch? Then the person thinks, okay, boss, you want to first of all have 2 hours for your lunch. Okay, so the interviewer should, you should make it a point to stress that you are open for ideas, you're open to learn things, your attitude toward understanding, your attitude toward switching. If I'm my role today, there's some role is given to me, I have to switch to some role because of certain problem in the company. I'm ready to it. I will adopt it. I will learn. I will ask 10 people. I will read 10 books. I will go to Google. I will go to YouTube. I will understand things, and I will see that I deliver. So this particular thing is very important in today's market scenario, in today's work culture.
Correct, sir. I can see we have already discussed about the last question, but there is a part here that I'll focus upon the thing that, like us now, we know our classmates are a bit they I mean, I'll phrase it differently. We have a small fear in our minds that, we are a batch who is learning virtually, and we'll be like the SIP interviews that we have got, you know,
Okay.
we have not even seen the interviewer.
Okay.
So there is a fear in our minds that this is something wrong. And, so do you have some,
Uh,
I think, information on, like, should the students fear this pandemic, or this is just the way forward?
Not at all. There is nothing to fear. Okay, there is nothing to fear. We have taken many interviews like this online. Okay, in recent times. Earlier also, some time ago also we had taken, because certain people were there, who was supposed to leave a job in Dubai and come here. So two such people I interviewed earlier on Skype. We found them nice, and we found them the way exactly what we had expected them, even if the interview was taken online. Okay, so I don't think there is any fear, should have any fear in your mind. Okay, you can face it correctly, no issue. People are, sitting across the globe and working. People are sitting in America, people are sitting in Japan, and they are doing this. For India, this is new for us. Okay, otherwise these things are going on in foreign countries for last 15 years, 20 years. Okay, so there is no fear. You need not have any fear in your mind. You have to, give the interview very confidently. You have to stress upon that you are here to learn, you are here to adapt, you are here to, help the company and keep the company and your career growth at the forefront, and not money. And
Correct.
not money dependent.
Okay,
Yes, money is
so
equally important, but it should have its own time. Yeah.
yeah, so the thing that we all can learn here, that rather than fearing this phase, we should utilize the time to develop ourselves to the utmost
Of
possible.
course, of course, of course. See, anything for which you do not have a solution, you should not fear to it. Do you have
Yeah,
a solution to pandemic? No. So keep it aside.
correct.
Okay, the trains are not running. The pantograph is broken. Can I do anything? I cannot do anything. So I have to keep it aside and think, how can I reach Churchgate? How can I reach Churchgate? Even if this train doesn't learn for next 3 hours, how should I get to Churchgate? By train, by any other means, by car, taxi. So you should start thinking, Arya, why this pantograph is broken? There is no point. This is not going to solve your problem. The problem is there, just keep it, start, coming out of the problem with finding a solution. The problem is going to remain, that problem you are not going to solve. Okay, so you have, your focus should be to find a way out of it and reach your target. That is the only thing in your hand. Okay, so anything which you cannot change, don't think about it. Think what you can do and achieve that target. It is the only way possible. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'll just give the thank you speech now. This has been a wonderful session. Thank you, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule to interact with us and giving us a sneak peek into the professional world. I am sure the students of our college will gain some substantial and noteworthy insights from this interview and learn from it.